Welcome back to my brain dump number 15. During a third-party audit, it is determined that a member of the firewall team can request, approve, and implement a new rule set on the firewall. Which of the following will the audit team most likely recommend during the audit outbrief? My bad. Separation of duties policy for the firewall team. Which of the following is the appropriate network structure used to protect servers and services that must be provided to external clients without completely eliminating access for internal users? And that is DMZ. Administrator has configured a new Linux server with the FTP service. Upon verifying that the service was configured correctly, the administrator has several users test the FTP service. Users report that they are able to connect to the FTP service and download their personal files. However, they cannot transfer new files to the server. Which of the following will most likely fix the uploading issue with the users? That is to create an ACL to allow the FTP service, write access to user directories. Administrator thinks the Unix system may be compromised, but a review of the system log files provided no useful information. After discussing the situation with the security team, the administrator suspects that the attacker may be altering the log files and removing evidence of intrusion activity. Which of the following actions will help detect attacker attempts to further alter log files? It is implement remote sylog. A global gaming console manufacturer is launching a new gaming platform to its customers. Which of the following controls reduces the risk created by malicious gaming customers attempting to circumvent control by way of modifying consoles? And that is firmware version control and automated updates. An audit has revealed that database administrators are also responsible for auditing database changes and backup logs. Which of the following access control methodologies would best mitigate this concern? And that is separation of duties. An external contractor who has not been given information about the software or network architecture is conducting a penetration test. Which of the following best describes the test being performed? Is it black box? He's not been given any information about the software or network architecture accepting a penetration test. That's it. He's not been getting any special rules or anything like that, so it cannot be a gray box. White box when they actually get all this information. So it's black box. They know nothing about the system. They're just penetrating it. A security administrator receives an alert from a third-party vendor that indicates that the certificate was installed in the browser and it has been hijacked in the root of a small public CA. The security administrator knows there are at least 4 different browsers in use on more than 1,000 computers in the domain worldwide. Which of the following solutions would be best for the security administrator to implement to most effectively assist with this issue? That is CRL. The security analyst has set up a network tap to monitor network traffic for vulnerabilities. Which of the following techniques would best describe the approach the analyst has taken? That is port scanning. They set up a tap. Due to regulatory requirements, a security analyst must implement full drive encryption on a Windows file server. Which of the following should the analyst implement on the system to best meet this requirement? Choose 2. And that is ensure the hardware supports TPM and enable it in the BIOS, and then enable and configure BitLocker on the drives. A company's loss control department identifies theft as a recurring loss type over the past year. Based on the department's report, the chief information officer wants to detect the theft of data center equipment. Which of the following controls should be implemented? It is C, motion detectors. Which of the following penetration testing concepts is being used when an attacker uses public internet databases to enumerate and learn more about a target? It's reconnaissance. While performing a penetration test, the technician wants their efforts to go unnoticed for as long as possible while they gather useful data about the network they are assessing. Which of the following would be best choice for the technicians? That's a packet sniffer. The security analyst captures forensic evidence from a potentially compromised system for further investigation. The evidence is documented and securely stored to first. preserve the data. Security analyst is investigating a security breach. Upon inspection of the audit and access logs, the analyst notices the host was accessed and the ext password file was modified with a new entry for username gotcha and user ID of 0. Which of the following are the most likely attack vector and tool the analyst should use to determine if the attack is still ongoing? That's backdoor and nutstat. A company recently replaced its unsecured email server with a cloud-based email and collaboration solution that is managed and insured by a third party. Which following action did the company take regarding the risk related to its email and collaborative services? That is transference. They transferred the risk over to the insurance of the third party. Security insurer is doing the following network capture. Which following malware is most likely to generate this above information? As you can see, got bank site, got the username and password right here. I mean, they're typing it in. So, keylogger. A network administrator adds an ACL to allow only HTTPS connections from host 192.168.2.3 to web server 192.168.5.2. After applying the rule, the host is unable to access the server. The network administrator runs the output, notices the configuration below. Access less 102. Permit TCP host this. Which of the following rules would best resolve this issue? And the answer is A. Access 102, permit TCP host. As you can see, 2, that, and it's going to use 443 to get there. Permit TCP host 192 to host 192.2, equation 3389, and 102, deny IP any log. A data center recently experienced a breach. When access was gained, an RF device was used to access an air-gapped and locked server rack. Which of the following would best prevent this type of attack? It is A. It's a Faraday cage. It's going to keep stuff out. A security analyst is working on a project that requires the implementation of a stream cipher. Which following should the analyst use? It is a symmetric algorithm. Which of the following would allow for the quickest restoration of a server into a warm recovery site in case in which a server data mirroring is not enabled? And that is a differential backup. In determining when it may be necessary to perform credentialed scan against a system instead of a non-credentialed scan, which of the following requirements is most likely to influence this decision? And it is the scanner must be able to audit file system permissions. The Computer Resource Center issues smartphones to all first level and above managers. Managers have the ability to install mobile tools. Which of the following tools should be implemented to control the types of tools the managers are installing? That is Application Manager. A wireless network has the following design requirements. Authentication must not be dependent on enterprise directory services, must allow background reconnection for mobile users, and it must not depend on user certificates. Which of the following should be used in the design to meet these requirements? Choose 2. And it's PSK and captive portals. Which of the following strategies should a system architect use to minimize availability risk due to insufficient storage capacity? That is scalability. You need to scale it to what you're actually going to need it to be available at. Security engineer wants to implement a site-to-site VPN that will require SSL certificates for mutual authentication. Which of the following should the engineer implement if the design requires client MAC addresses to be visible across the tunnel? That is SSL VPN. After surfing the internet, Joe, a user, woke up to find all his files were corrupted. His wallpaper was replaced with a messaging stating the files were encrypted and that he needed to transfer money to a foreign country to recover them. Joe's a victim of, that's what ransomware sounds like. Yep, ransomware. Security administrators send corrective action after a phishing attack. Users are still experiencing trouble logging in, as well as increase in account lockouts. Users' email contacts are complaining of an increase in spam and social networking requests. Due to the large number of affected accounts, remediation must be accomplished quickly. Which of the following actions should be taken first? Select 2. Oops. There we go. Is disable the open relay on the email server and enable sender policy framework. Which of the following allows an auditor to test proprietary software compiled code for security flaws? We're testing it for security flaws, and it's code. Talked about this actually earlier. Fuzzing. Also uses to detect bugs. And a user states that her machine has been behaving erratically over the past week. She has experienced slowness and input lag and found text files that appear to contain pieces of her emails or online conversations with coworkers. The technician runs a standard virus scan but detects nothing. Which of the following types of malware has infected the machine? That is a keylogger. They're grabbing what she's typing out. The security administrator wants to implement a logon script that will prevent man-in-the-middle attacks on the local LAN. Which of the following commands should the security administrator implement within the script to accomplish this task? And that is ARP dash yada 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 yada. Just remember ARP. Which of the following is the best reason for assaulting a password hash before it is stored in a database? That is to prevent duplicate values from being stored. An actor downloads and runs a program against a corporate login page. The program reports a list of usernames and passwords looking for a successful attempt. Which of the following terms best describes the actor in this situation? Script kiddie. Basically grabbed like an already pre-made set like script from a website somewhere, and they're just basically placing it on there. They actually didn't do any creation of themselves of that software for that scripting, so script kiddie. An organization wants to utilize a common internet-based third-party provider for authorization and authentication. The provider uses a technology based on OAuth 2.0 to provide required services. To which of the following technologies is the provider referring? That is OpenID Connect. A penetration tester harvests potential usernames from a social networking site. The penetration tester then uses social engineering to attempt to obtain associated passwords to gain unauthorized access to shares on a network server. Which of the following methods is a penetration tester most likely using? And it is active reconnaissance. Which of the following could occur when both strong and weak ciphers are configured on a VPN concentrator? Select 2. An attacker could potentially perform a downgrade attack, as well as the IPsec payload reverted to 16-bit sequence numbers. Which of the following is the best choice for a security control that represents a preventative and corrective logical control at the same time? It is B, antivirus. A web developer improves client access to a company's REST API. Authentication needs to be tokenized but not exposed to the client's password. Which of the following methods would best meet the developer's requirements? And that is SAML. A vulnerability scan is being conducted against a desktop system. The scan is looking for files, versions, and registry values known to be associated with the system vulnerabilities. Which of the following best describes the type of scan being performed? It is a credential scan. And that's because they already know looking for the certain files and looking for certain versions and registry values already know to be associated with the system vulnerabilities. So they already know about the system vulnerability. They're right now just doing a credential scan through it. A security analysis is updating a BIA document. The security analyst notices the support vendor's time to replace a server hard drive went from 8 hours to 2 hours. Given these new metrics, which of the following can be concluded? Select 2. The MTTR is faster, and the RTO has decreased. Basically, RTO, time it actually takes, and how long it's going to take for recovery. It's faster. Yep. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of this video. Please stay tuned for the next vid. Laters.